Yeah. All right. We are officially live here on YouTube. Yeah. All right. So thank you all. Thank you for watching Entrepreneur Chamber Podcast on YouTube. We're up to episode number 25, right? Soon I'll be joined with my brethren, the SOSA for the people. In episode 25, we decided to speak about some of the things that we, as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, those of us who are self employed, there are a lot of things that we do, tangibles that we do. And often those things are done more or less subconsciously. So let me give you an example. One thing may be subconsciously, you may have a date, time, meeting set up. And subconsciously, you may say to yourself, that meeting is for tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Now, subconsciously, you documented that meeting. There's a lot of things that can take place from the time you received the meeting request or scheduled the meeting to the time that the meeting actually happens. And be something with life, your children, your spouse, an emergency with one of your employees. And in that interim, in that space, there's time for errors to occur and for you not to stay on schedule with that meeting. So by you writing that meeting down, putting it on the calendar, nowadays through digital format, you can just go right to your calendar out of your mobile device, and then you can lock in um, on your calendar the meeting, set the time, and even set out an alert notification about 15 minutes prior to the start of that meeting. So those are some of the, or just one example that I gave of something you may do subconsciously as a business owner. But now it's about taking some of those things that are subconscious and then now taking it to the conscience, where there's that awareness, the self awareness, and just seeing it on your calendar for tomorrow at 10 a.m. or whatever time that meeting is will, in the interim, give you a reminder that, I have a meeting to attend and I have other business that I might have to handle. Now, that doesn't mean that the emergency will still not come up or that X factors may still occur, but that's just one example of taking something um, from the subconscious and presenting it into the conscience. So, once again, y'all, thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Co-host IJUST of the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast, and I have my brethren co-host, Mr. SOSA for the people. He'll be joining us soon. For those who follow us on Facebook and are a part of the Entrepreneur Chamber Facebook group, and you're checking in right now, much appreciated. Let's just go here on the live stream and we'll see who's checking in with us. All right, we'll check out the chat, see who's checking in with us, and then we'll proceed with the program, the podcast for the day. All right, so I'm just going to type something in the chat here. Thank you for tuning to our stream. All right, y'all. So if you're out there in the YouTube ecosphere, and you're tuned in right now to the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast on this live episode number 25, I want you to go ahead and throw up a 100, throw a thumbs up, post a comment, like the video, and let us know that you tapped in. All right. So without further delay, let's just go right all the way into it. So now, when we're speaking about doing things that are subconsciously done and that you don't consciously do these things, and these could be daily tasks that you're already doing within your business. So I gave you one example, which was a business meeting that you subconsciously set by, I don't know, email, you got the phone call, said, let's meet tomorrow, 10 o'clock, potentially for a sale. Never put that meeting on your meeting board, on your calendar, or enter it into your calendar on your device with some form of notification 5, 10, preferably 15 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. And in this episode, the whole key to the episode was to speak about things that we're going to do from the subconscious and then do them in the conscious. Now, that is known as awareness, having complete awareness. Now, let's go with another example, setting clear goals. So you may have, once again, some ideas. If you're a entrepreneur, if you're a business owner like myself, got ideas all day long. Be straight honest with y'all. It's not too many things that I do that doesn't translate to me in some form of a business opportunity. Now, some of those setting clear goals can flee. They're not sustaining if you just leave them or put them just in the subconscious. And when I say the subconscious, we're talking about as you get the information or the data, where that information is stored in the subconscious. And how do we get that to the conscious? And then we'll speak about once you have consciously doing these things, they're known as atomic habits. So setting clear goals. Now, if you have, for me, a janitorial business, I have my daily goals as the business owner. These include tasks that I want to complete for the day and setting clear goals that I'm going to accomplish for the day. And then at that point, how do I prioritize my time that coincides with me achieving and accomplishing those goals? So that's the reason why you want to have your goals set clearly. All right. So if you're one who just and there's nothing wrong with, there is no right or wrong. Let me just make that declaration. There is no right or wrong. You know, this is all about the learning curve. And I'm not an expert beyond my experience. So within my experience, from the adversity that I've faced since I've been a business owner, I am an expert on my own experiences. So within my level of experience lies my expertise. So if I set goals clearly, that means that not only that I think of these goals in inception, I wrote the goals down. Now, my daily goals may be written on my calendar. Those are known as my short-term goals. Then I have my medium or intermediate goals. So depending on how far out projections are going to go, whether that's 1 year, 2 year, I normally stay within that range because there's a lot that can happen, good, bad, or indifferent within any set period of time. We're talking 3, 4, 5 years. You're projecting goals. To me, that's beyond the horizon. So I have my daily goals. I have my weekly goals. I have my monthly goals. I have my semi-annual goals. And I have my annual goals. These are all set clearly for me. So these are goals that I write down what I would like to accomplish. Now, let me be completely transparent with those who are watching me now on YouTube. If you're watching this live now, I'm going to be transparent with you. Now, some of my goals, they are beyond the horizon, even the goals that are set within that 1 year. So often, more than not, I'm looking to set goals that are realistic. These are goals that kind of walk one into each other in the realm of all being inclusive. That's how I view things. That's my perspective. That this minute, this second has something to do with this minute. This minute has something to do with this hour. This hour has something to do with this day. This day has something to do with this week. This week has something to do with this month. This month has something to do with this year. See where I'm going with this. So to me, it's all inclusive. So my goals are set clearly for my business. These are goals that I do my best to make these goals realistic. So this allows me to achieve these goals. Now, I'm going to pin it there for a moment at goals. And I'm going to tell you why taking it from the subconscious and answer this question for you, the why question, taking it from the subconscious to the conscious, how that helps you physically and metaphysically within business and capturing that awareness. So when I write these goals down, or first when I think of these goals, there's victory within that thought process. Then when I take it a step further and it goes from the word to me writing it down, now I see it a little more clearly. Once I achieve that goal, I've taken it then from the seeing it clearly to it now being applicable or something that I've realized. So I went from the thought to seeing it to achieving it. That's a moral victory. Your business self-esteem itself will be grateful and thank you for that because it is a victory. So that's something else that you want to consider when we're talking about taking something from the subconscious to the conscious. So I gave you another example, which was setting clear goals. And before we proceed, let's just check in, see who's on the live. You know, those that are watching, see me, I just hit the like button. If you're on the live, if you're watching right now, the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast on YouTube, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section on YouTube. Hit a hashtag or at Entrepreneur Chamber Podcast. Let me know that you tapped in the building. All right. So we're going to proceed so we don't digress. All right. So I'm going to go with my next example. And today's podcast, this is the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast, episode number 25. I want to shout out my brethren, co-host, SOSA for the people. And then I'm the other co-host, IJUST. So once again, family, we're talking about the day-to-day things that you may be already doing as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an investor, as an employee, or as someone who's self-employed. Primarily, we're speaking to those who are self-employed, those who are business owners, investors, or entrepreneurs. Okay. So we're talking about overall the things that you may do day to day subconsciously, but how do you transfer that to the conscience and give you the total awareness as a business owner? Declaring awareness, being aware. So my next example is going to be time management. And time management to me is about effective decision making. And I'm a firm knower that time management is something that you have to practice. And once again, I'm just being transparent with you. All of those that are checking me out right now on YouTube, this is your co-host IJUST, and I'm telling you, I'm being transparent with you. But time management is something certainly that you have to practice. And time management to me is practicing effective decision making. So let's go with this for example. Task that I'm not going to say that I hate. Um, Tasks that I certainly wish I can outsource, possibly through AI, which some may be, but it still needs that human touch. It's almost like for me, the example of going into a bank branch where you can use the ATM, but I still appreciate the human touch and going to speak with a teller and continuing to develop that relationship. But anyway, effective decision making. So the example I'm going to give is a task that is tedious to me, and that's answering, replying, first opening my emails, which I normally designate as the first task of my day when I start my business day. Typically, I open my emails at the start of business. So effective decision making. Are you going to spend twice as long going through your emails because you've declared this already a task that you don't want to do? It's daunting. Now we're speaking about overall, once again, going from the subconscious things we do subconsciously, the things that we need to do consciously so we can have total awareness. So effective decision making when going through your emails. So I'm gonna speak for my own self when going through my emails. So effective decision making to me is first prioritizing my emails. I may initially skim through a handful of them. Some emails need immediate response. Some emails I can answer a little bit after I answer the ones that are top priority. Now, let's go with the top priority emails and put that in the bucket. And how long are you going to spend, or how long am I going to spend figuring out how to appropriately respond to the email? Translate right back to effective decision making. Don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to reply to the email. Now, you may say, Winston, I just, that sounds a little bit weird to me. We're talking about effective decision making limits wasted energy. So the longer you sit in idle time trying to figure out the appropriate way to reply to the email, you could have answered emails that you already know the answer to. So whether it's a short email like thank you for the update, yes, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is a good time for us to meet. You can answer those emails first. Knock out the list. Once again, subconsciously, you set a goal. Consciously, you prioritize what emails you're going to answer. And within that, you made an effective decision to answer the emails that I can reply to relatively quickly because, for the most part, I already know the answer to it. So, before we go on with, in the overall, we're speaking about in business, whether you're a person who's self-employed, which means that essentially you created a job for yourself, whether you're a business owner, so at some point you've scaled, you have systems and procedures in place and employees, so you don't have to work as much in your business, you have the time to work on your business. Or whether you're an investor or entrepreneur, to me that's kind of the same bucket. So before we proceed any further, let me just say once again, thank you for all of those that are watching this live here on YouTube. You're tuned in to the Entrepreneur Chamber Podcast channel. We have co-hosts SOSA for the people, and then you have co-host IJUST. Yes. So right now, I'm at the helm and I'm gonna hold my brethren down. I'm gonna hold my brother down. I'm quite sure there was something that occurred where my brethren wasn't able to get in on the live with us. And I'm not gonna count him out because it's still about a half an hour left to go on this live. And so he might jump in anyway. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's for the last 15 minutes, because I know that he was looking forward to speaking to our community that we're building brick by brick here on YouTube. So once again, being that you're on YouTube and you're watching the Entrepreneur Chamber Podcast, episode number 25, live, yes, subscribe, like, share, check. See family from the Entrepreneur Chamber Facebook group, see who tapped in. And we're just going to say at this point, we're going to go back to the topic at hand. So the topic at hand in episode number 25, and what we're talking about is as a business owner, as someone who's self-employed, an entrepreneur, or an investor, what are some of the intangibles, the things that we do daily that's done subconsciously that we don't declare into the conscience to give us total awareness? So we spoke about setting clear goals. We spoke about practicing time management. So the next intangible that I'm going to speak about, build on, add on to, is continuously learning and seeking knowledge. You know, not to no avail, and what knowledge are you seeking is very important. So continuously learning. Well, I just, someone may ask, how do I continuously learn subconsciously without me taking what I learned to the conscious so I can have total awareness? And what does that have to do with taking from the subconscious to the conscious to achieve complete and total awareness within your business ecosphere? So continuously learning for me is self-education. That can come in a form of books. That can come in a form of attending online webinars. And let me just say this for those that are tuned in. Let me just say this. Since the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, right? When at first there were in-house, or you would go to a seminar and then it went to webinars. Well, at one point it was like just nothing but webinars. A lot of formats are still now webinars, which is a lot more convenient for the host and the attendees. So part of the continuously learning is taking place and participating in webinars. Okay, what type of webinars? These can be webinars that speak about supplier diversity. These can be webinars that are by PTAC that can speak about how do you do business with the federal government, state, county, the local city, municipalities. These could be webinars that speak about marketing. If you're not at the point where you can hire a marketing agency, shout out to Hustle Lab, you know. But anyway, continuously learning is another key element, intangible. And these are things that you can take from the subconscious when you're participating in these webinars. And I'm going to tell you how you can take that to the conscious by taking notes. Just that simple. When you participate in these webinars, whether that's you go to a seminar or you go to a webinar, or you're networking, you're building relationships, you're sitting down with your banker, you're having meetings with your bookkeeper, you're having meetings with your marketing agency, taking notes, reading books, building and speaking, asking questions with those who have successfully been in business longer than you have. Could even speak to people who've been in business not as long as you have. They may have something to offer. There's nothing wrong with that. You can learn from anyone, from anything, from any circumstance. So, continuously learning. And how do you do this already day to day through your experiences as a business owner, as someone who's self-employed, an investor, an entrepreneur? You're continuously learning every day if you're active in your business, which most of us are. So if the shoe don't fit, the cap don't fit, in the words of Bob Marley, let them wear it. If it does fit, this is for you. So you're already continuously learning practically every day. Now, how do you keep that information on tap? By applying what you've learned. Put it into practice through time management and effective decision making once you set clear goals. See how we walk that thing right on back. And I told you, said to you, I spoke to you nicely and said that your goals these intangibles as all being inclusive at the end of the day is going to roll up into one. So it's no different than one rolls into two, two rolls into three, three rolls into four, four rolls into five, all the way up to 100. They're individuals, but if I had a dollar bill or 100 singles or a $100 bill, that $100 bill represents the combined effort of the 100 singles. So if you're watching now on YouTube, you're tuned in to the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast, episode number 25. I'm your co-host, IJUST. Yeah. Shout out to my co-host, Mr. SOSA for the people. And in this episode, number 25, we were speaking and we're building about how do you take things from the subconscious or the things that you're already doing subconsciously, day to day, daily in your business. How do you place that into the conscience and then apply it? So therefore, you can create atomic habits for yourself. So as a quick recap, we spoke about setting clear goals, practicing time management, effective decision making, continuously learning, and seeking wise counsel. And within that framework, I gave live examples, real life examples that, once again, in the words of the great Bob Marley, if that can fit, then wear it. So now, this all is included or intended for those that are listening on Spotify, those that are watching live here on YouTube, about total awareness. That's the end game of taking things from the subconscious or the intangibles task that you're already doing daily subconsciously. How do you then have that done consciously? Create atomic habits. These atomic habits is going to be your ecosphere of awareness, complete awareness. So you're paying close attention and now you're listening carefully. Too many people nowadays just pay attention and they just listen. Are you paying close attention and are you listening closely? Now, the next intangible that I'm going to speak about, build on, add on to, is staying focused and disciplined. So, what are some of the things that you focus on, part of your discipline every day that you may do daily as a small business owner? So, for me, reading emails, replying to emails, researching my competitors, doing research, finding out the latest technology and trends within the industry I'm in, which is the commercial janitorial business. Shout out to JMD Janitorial. Shout out to NA Solutions. So, staying focused and discipline are some things that are intangibles you're probably already doing daily as a business owner, subconsciously. How do you do that consciously? Create atomic habits, which gives you clear, complete, total awareness of your circumstance, which will allow you to move wisely. make wise decisions within your business, for yourself. Now, it all ties back when I say stay focused, kind of to setting goals, because I spoke about, will continue to speak about writing these things down. So if I have a meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock, tomorrow comes around, something comes up, I don't know, at 8 o'clock in the morning, which requires your immediate attention. It may not equate to the level of importance of tomorrow's meeting. Tomorrow meeting could be the close of a new customer, a new client, a sale. You're going to sign the deal. That's going to be your top priority. At any rate, staying focused and knowing that I have that meeting at 10 o'clock, I'm either going to delegate that incident or what may have occurred at 8 o'clock to someone within my organization. We're on the same page. And I don't mean to say someone, it's going to probably be my builder manager in the case of my janitorial business, operation manager. Shout out to my brethren in the standing. Shout out to CIYs, brothers that helped me make it happen in my janitorial business. But anyway, staying focused. So I may have to delegate that incident that occurred at 8 o'clock in the morning in order for me to stay focused, because I wrote it down, entered the appointment meeting at 10 a.m. and I gave it a level 1 of importance, highest priority. So I have to attend this. But what I may enter myself into, if I try to do the task myself at 8 o'clock, may take me until 11 o'clock. So therefore, I may have to sign or dispatch that particular incident that occurred at 8 o'clock in order for me to stay focused and have the discipline to therefore attend and honor that meeting for that morning, 10 a.m. Stay focused and be disciplined. These are intangibles that are very, very important to being a successful entrepreneur. Now, you're going to determine what is success. We all have our different levels of, or let me just start off by saying it this way. We all can have some commonalities of success, or the same pillars that you identify as success, I identify as success. Be materialistic, whatever. Can't fake success, right? So these atomic habits that you're setting up for yourself are going to allow you to maintain and stay focused, have that discipline, which will lead you to being a successful person who's self-employed, person who's a business owner, an entrepreneur, or an investor. So before we proceed on, once again, tuned into the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast. I'm your co-host, IJUST. I'm a co-host. It's the SOSA for the people. This is episode number 25. That's wisdom, power, that's build. Excuse me, that's God. So anyway, if you're checked in, one of the members of the Entrepreneur Chamber Facebook group, let's just go on and see if who tapped in. If you tapped in, appreciate you watching. Keep on watching. I see we got another thumbs up. So somebody else did tap in. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we're just going to move forward, y'all. So we're speaking about the task, and I'm building on the task intangibles that you as a business owner, someone who's self-employed, an entrepreneur or an investor, you're probably already doing subconsciously from time to time, hopefully daily. Now, how do we transfer that to the conscience to declare total awareness of what you're doing? Now, this is something that may be overlooked, but I'm going to say it anyway. Maintain a positive and optimistic mindset. Listen, that's important. Now, you may say to yourself, or you may be saying to yourself, brother I just, what does maintaining a positive and optimistic mindset, how does that correlate from what I'm doing in business daily? Furthermore, how does that transfer from the subconscious to the conscious to give me clear-cut awareness? Maintaining a positive and optimistic mindset, be quite frank and honest with you, shouldn't be something you just doing in business. Should be something that you're doing personally. This is one of those traits that's going to go right into business. There are some traits that are transferable. Some traits you got to leave at the door that may not be advantageous to business. There are some traits that can operate personally and in business. One of those is the ability to maintain a positive and optimistic mindset. I do that in my personal life. Not easy. I want to be the first one to tell you it's not easy. Maintain a positive and optimistic mindset, but it must be done in order for you to maintain your sanity, first and foremost, mental health. You have to maintain a positive and optimistic mindset. So, once again, we're going to cut right to an example. And I'm going to give you an example of maintaining a positive and optimistic mindset. Something that you may be doing it subconsciously, but then how do I transfer that to the conscience to give me total awareness of my business and my circumstance and the reality that I'm currently in? That's going to be my perception moving forward. Example, Exhibit A. I did a phone call. Phone call, nowadays, an email, an inquiry of someone looking for commercial cleaning services. Says, found you on the internet. Shout out to the African American Chambers of Commerce. They may say, I contacted the African American Chambers of Commerce, the Better Business Bureau, looked you up on Google, on Yelp, all of these different platforms where you can have a profile set up, a capability statement where people can vet you prior to calling you. So, said person contacts you, says, I'm interested in commercial cleaning services. In fact, I need it. I have a problem here at my office. The cleaning company I have, basura. Basura. Trash. No good, right? So you make it kind of quick and fast, meaning right now, I'm not going to give you the long spill of that conversation. You go do the walkthrough, prepare the estimate, send that person the estimate back. They say, hey, everything looks good. Certainly willing to go with your services. Then they ghost you. Never hear nothing back. You may send a follow-up courtesy email. You may send which I think you should do, about 4 points of contact after you may have not heard back from that person. So you've went in with a positive and optimistic mindset, saying to yourself subconsciously that, man, it looks like a slam dunk, done deal. Going to close this contract, going to get this count. It's going to happen. Then you never hear back from that person. It's easy at that point to be discouraged. If that happens to you 1, 2, 3 times in a week, in a month, it's easy to get discouraged. Now, adjust. What does that have to do with things as a business owner, as a self-employed individual, as a entrepreneur and investor? What does that have to do with maintaining a positive and optimistic mindset, daily tasks, intangibles I do as a business owner? Furthermore, transferring that to the conscience. You can easily transfer negative energy into the conscience by being discouraged, throwing in the towel. Let me give you all an example. And this occurred with me, and I'm going to wrap it up soon. We'll be approaching up to the hour. But at any rate, I recall when I first started my janitorial firm, my business, my commercial janitorial firm, printed up flyers, flew on, not gonna lie, shirt and the tie, had my little briefcase, had my little binder. It was sheets were laminated. It was in order. It was color coordinated. I'm saying to myself, like, yeah, somebody gonna look at this. They're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go with your cleaning business. I knocked on doors. I went to businesses. Some people ain't even let me in their building. They spoke to me through the intercom. I'm talking about one guy took my flyer and basically turned it on the other side and wrote and drew a picture of it practically right in front of my face. Could have got discouraged, but I maintained a positive and optimistic mindset. As I said to myself, I'm coming from the mud, I'm coming from the bottom, and I got to get through these 99 no's to get to that one yes. You see, maintaining a positive and optimistic mindset is an atomic habit. These atomic habits derive from awareness. How do I get awareness? By the things that I'm already doing daily, intangibles that I'm doing daily, subconsciously transferring that data to the conscience, where it can then become applicable. And then you can bring it into realization. Operative is real. Something you can touch, you can feel, you can see it. That's victory. You can achieve those victories. So before we proceed on, for those that may just now be tuning in, and let's just check on the comments. Let's check on the members from the Entrepreneur Chamber Facebook group. If you're watching right now, we streamed about 48 minutes ago. So we're going to be wrapping up this stream, this live soon. I appreciate all of those that did give a thumbs up and did like. If you're on YouTube right now, go ahead and subscribe to the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast channel. If you look in on our page, on the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast page, we have the link and the icon button for podcasts. There, you can just binge watch and view all of the podcasts, from the first one that SOSA and I uploaded and recorded and uploaded onto YouTube, to even after tomorrow, you'll be able to watch this live. In case you missed the beginning of this live, you'll be able to retrack and watch it again from the very beginning. It's going to be in the podcast. And you can find that on the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast channel right here on YouTube. And once you're on that channel, you might as well go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Post a comment. If it's something that you think I was being intellectually dishonest about during my deliberation here on episode number 25, or if there's something that you agree with me on, or maybe a point that I didn't miss. I don't profess that I know it all. I told you that my expertise derives from my experience in business, and I've been in business since 2018. Now, I've been in other type of business, may have not been legal business, and I'll be honest with y'all, that was even transferable. Some of the principles that I learned, in my former years growing up in the inner city that were transferable to the boardroom. I'll be honest, man, I'm glad that I did learn those skill sets um, and that they were transferable to the boardroom. So let's just move forward, y'all. And we're speaking about um, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as someone who is self-employed, an investor, intangibles, task that daily you're already doing subconsciously, but to achieve total awareness, how do you then transfer what you've already been doing subconsciously into the conscience? So, as a quick recap, we spoke about one, setting clear goals, not just setting goals, but clear goals. Clear goals is being more realistic. It's no different than, I don't know, as another example with that, setting clear goals would be if you're at a 500 credit score and you're looking to go to an 800 credit score, can you do that in 30 days? To me, that's just not setting a realistic goal. That's not setting clear goals. Anything is possible. Is it probable? So practicing time management and effective decision making. We built on continuous learning and seeking proper knowledge. We also added on with staying focused and discipline, maintaining a positive and optimistic mindset, which is going to lead me right into the next task or intangible that you may be already doing as a business owner, as someone who's self-employed, as an investor, as an entrepreneur, subconsciously, that you then want to be able to achieve that total awareness. So it's taking it from the subconscious onto the conscious. And that's cultivating, building, maintaining, maintenance of relationships with clients, super management, customers, employees. That's just it. These are things that you're already doing daily. These are tasks that are already, if you're a business owner, you're doing these things daily anyway. But what part of it is it subconscious that is not getting transferred to the conscious? So let me give you an example. With your employees, you may come in, greet them, good morning, lunch at the end of the day, have a good day, peace for me, peace, have a good day. Now, that's being done subconsciously because for most of us who are in touch with reality, we walk around in morning time, in the evening time, saying good morning, you're saying good night, good evening, how you doing, things like that. This is just what we do. So with your employees, what are you doing other than that, which is subconsciously being done, to then transfer it to the conscience and having that total awareness of your employee? So your employee may give you something, they may say something to you like an insinuation, Could be a problem with their cell phone, which gives you an opportunity. Now, again, this is optional. You don't have to do this. None of what I'm saying is something that you have to do. I'm just merely giving you my experiences and what I recommend, right? To achieve atomic habits. So you may find out that they're going through something, for an example, their cell phone, which may have an app where my employees can sign in and clock in when they're at one of the commercial buildings that are going to be cleaned. They can clock out at the end of their shift. May prevent her from doing that. Therefore, she has to call you or at the week write down on a piece of paper, blah, 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 about her hours for the week. And there may be an opportunity for you as a business owner. And I've done this myself, and this is why I can give you such a clear cut example, because I've done this, where I gave that employee who was a great worker, came to work every day, worked through the entire COVID, storms, snow, was always reliable, dependable, and had great customer service and was a great cleaner. Well, I gave her a weekly pay bonus to purchase cell phone. So that's taking something that I'm already doing, like saying, hi, how are you today? From the subconscious as a business owner. These are things that I'm already doing, and then moving it to the conscious. Now, am I going to do that for every single employee all the time, every day? I don't think so. Come on, let's be realistic. Don't be foolish. So before we wrap up this live episode number 25, I'm gonna go with the last intangible that you may be doing already daily as a business owner, as someone who's self-employed, as an investor, as an entrepreneur, that you may already be doing daily in business subconsciously, but are not being transferred to the conscience, which will declare awareness for you of your business and of your circumstance. Having that awareness and that clarity allows you to make effective, decisive decisions in your business. Embrace and adapt to change. Embrace and adapt to change. I'm going to leave you all with that one, right? And of course, I've given you example after example, not nothing that's kind of hyperbolish or something that I made up. I'm talking about real life examples that I'm giving you. And embrace and adapt to change. Speaking for myself as a business owner of a commercial janitorial firm, shameless plug, this JMD Janitorial, and my co-host, Mr. SOSA. He also has several businesses, and one of his is a commercial janitorial business. So shout out to NA Solutions, right? So we're speaking about embracing and adapting to change. Now, once again, you may be saying to yourself, I just, what does that have to do with me, who's self-employed, a business owner? I'm an investor. I'm an entrepreneur. What does that have to do? What does embrace and adapt to change have to do with what I'm doing daily, subconsciously? Furthermore, how do I transfer that to conscience? Walk with me, y'all. Check this out. AI. It's the elephant in the room right now. Now, we've been dealing with AI for quite some time. In case you dropped from the moon or you were under a rock for the last I don't know how many years. That's beside the point. Point is that we've been dealing with artificial intelligence for a very long time. It's just so much more closer to the common man, and the businesses that smaller businesses interact with. They interact with larger businesses who interact with institutional businesses, and they are at the forefront of artificial intelligence. So there's been a lot of talk about different types of artificial intelligence. I mean, they're not sponsoring this podcast, so I'm not going to give you any specific names. You can research that for yourself. Now, let me give you an example. You have your mobile device. You're about to text one of your employees. My example would be I manage one of my accounts is management, which we manage at a community college. So I get what are known as work orders or requests from anywhere across the campus. On one shift, I'm managing about 15 employees. They're scattered across campus. We're talking about across 1,000,000 square feet. So a lot of our communication is going to be done by text message. So if there's a spill inside of one of the buildings, I get the work order saying, hey, there's a spill in the building. I have to dispatch one of the custodians to go in the spill, blah, 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 blah. You can go to text your employee, are you available to clean up the mess or the spill, whatever, inside of this particular location that on such and such floor or in the restroom. Your phone, as you're doing the texting, sometimes without even shifting your thumb, you can just hover over the same space, will autofill your sentence for you, auto-populate it for you. That's AI. You're already and have embraced and adapted to change. I'm from the era where you had to remember phone numbers. Nowadays, you can just put a phone number in, sign the name to the phone number, and through your phone, click on the person name, and never remember that person's phone number. Tell me I'm lying, right? So you've already embraced and adapted to change. So AI, how does that or affect the intangibles in the daily task that I'm already doing as a business owner, someone who's self-employed, an investor, an entrepreneur, things I'm already doing subconsciously? How do I then transfer that to the conscious to give me total awareness in that clarity of my business? So you may use a app that, if you're one, and we're going to circle it right back to answering emails, you may struggle like me with, how do I answer this email without sounding like a pushover or sounding too aggressive? I don't know. I suffer from that problem. It's either or, right? So you can get an app, but your way of speaking, the gist of what you're trying to get across inside of the email slot or description on the app, and then generate an email that's so well written, right? And it covers both boundaries. So embracing and adapting to change, going subconsciously to the conscience, and giving you that total awareness, right? You can use that. That will cut down time. If you're a blogger, you can write articles. Excuse me. So, as I said, I'm going to leave you with that one. Embrace and adapt to change, right? So, you'll be tuning in, quite sure, to the next episode, which is going to be episode number 26. For all of those that watched the Entrepreneur Chamber podcast, episode number 25 here on YouTube, I salute you. Thank you. If you hit that like button, if you posted a comment, if you're from the Entrepreneur Chamber Facebook group and you tapped in to watch your co-host, Brother IJUST, build with y'all today, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Very grateful. So I'm going to conclude this live, y'all. Once again, I appreciate you. Shout out to my co-host, my brethren, my man, 50 grand, Mr. SOSA for the people. So you already know, got to hit y'all with the mission statement. In the words of my brother, SOSA, help empower us so we can help empower you. And I'm going to leave you with this. Peace all victorious.